So sometimes I have kind of a hard time recording because it's kind of weird to just like talk to yourself and like stare at a camera. So today I went and bought myself an iced latte as like a sweet treat to like be like, yeah, girl, you got this. Go record a video. And it reminded me of this time a couple weeks ago where I got a iced matcha latte from this coffee shop food truck thing. And I drank the whole thing and it was really tasty. And I was like, yeah, this is delightful. And I really like matcha. And then at the very bottom of it, on my last sip, I saw that there was a dead bee in the bottom. So I had just spent a couple hours drinking bee soup. Anyway, all the time people ask me why Tara's Bad Luck Club. And in addition to terrible die rolls, stuff like that happens. So anyway, welcome back. Welcome to part 2 of the board game and roll and write series. I forget what I named this playlist on YouTube, so we'll just call it that series for now. We're going to be talking about walking in Burano. Burano is an island in Venice, Italy, and the theme of this game is you are trying to refurbish the buildings that are lining the canal on this island. And you're trying to make them vibrant and beautiful so that tourists can appreciate them and local inhabitants can appreciate the scenery as well. My favorite part about this game is the tourists that you're trying to appeal to are just called man, woman, boy, and girl. And it's super generic. I really like that. But the best part is that the locals in the town, there's a mayor, a policeman, a shop owner, a tailor, and then also Santa Claus because, you know, really, why not? Why not Santa Claus? Why is he not in more games? It makes sense. We want the rooftops and the chimneys to look nice because, you know, someone's got to deliver presents to these kids every year. So anyway, the theme of this game is cool, but my favorite part is the people that you are trying to appeal to in this game. Okay, so in Walking in Burano, you are starting with a blank tableau in front of you with just 2 pieces of scaffolding, which you'll use to help you construct your little street. You'll have a marketplace of first, second, and third floors, and they are all different colors, all mixed together. So on your turn, you can choose to either take an income of coins or you can take cards. You can only take cards from one column, and you can take 1, 2, or 3 cards from that column. The more cards that you take, the less income that you get in addition to that. So if you only take 1 card, you'll also get 2 coins. If you take all 3 cards, you won't get any coins. Coins are helpful because to actually construct those cards that you're drafting onto your street and build them, you do have to pay for that, and you can build up to 3 cards at a time, and the more cards you build in one turn, the higher the cost is. There are certain building restrictions, such as you have to build from the ground floor up because you can't build a rooftop on a building that doesn't exist. You also can't build 2 houses next to each other that are the same colors. So you have to plan your actions to make sure that you're not putting 2 houses of the same color next to each other. There are ways that you can go around this. Everybody starts the game with some tokens that are worth victory points at the end. Every player has 4 of those. You can discard them throughout the game to break some placement restrictions. However, that will cost you victory points at the end of the game since that is just kind of free points that you start the game with. At the end of every person's turn in the game, they will check to see if they have a complete building. So if they have all 3 floors constructed, at that point, they can draft a inhabitant or a visitor to occupy that space. They're not actually like residents of that building, but it does just bring somebody into your town. So a completed building basically is going to attract a person to come and judge how they feel about the building that you just constructed, essentially. So at that point, you'll take one of them. Each player can only have 1 of each type of inhabitant. However, they can have multiple of the same type of tourist. And each inhabitant and tourist is looking for something different. So one person might really favor flowers. Another might like street lamps. The police like street lamps so that they can like help see crime. And then Some people really like cats, like who doesn't? So yeah, basically you get to draft these different people, and those are going to be how you score points at the end of the game. So the more buildings that you're completing, the more inhabitants that you get to bring, or tourists that are going to be attracted to the strip that you just built. And you're going to do better if you have the things that they're looking for. This game's super cute. It's definitely a family weight game. It's not heavy by any means, but it doesn't take up that much space. It's a nice game to take with you to just go hang out at like a coffee shop or a brewery. I don't know if I know how to say the word brewery. Anyway, it's just a good game to take with you places when you are just hanging out with your friends and chatting. That's literally what I did when I played it last. A friend was visiting from out of town, and we just hung out and played this game over coffee, and it was good fun. The game can be played pretty quickly. It says that it's 20 to 40 minutes. I would say it's probably at least 40 minutes to play. I guess it depends how quick you are and if you're trying to learn the game or not, or if you're yapping away while playing, which is how I typically play games. But this one's quick and fun and easy. I highly suggest it if you get to play it. Do you need it on your shelf? Like, maybe not, but if you're always looking for just like a small box game to have with you, I definitely would suggest that. It is cute. The colors are adorable. The theme is nice. And like I said, the characters just crack me up. So if you like silly, quirky games like that, I would definitely give this one a go. Walking in Burano Roll and Write is slightly different. In Walking in Burano, where you are actually building the houses and choosing the color that they're all going to be, in the Roll and Write, you're starting with a sheet that already has the houses built and the color is established for them. So in this game, you're focusing more on decorating these houses. So you're putting up curtains, you're making sure the street lights work, you're making sure they have chimneys, you're making sure the cats want to come hang out there. So that is what you're doing throughout this game. Whoever's turn it is to roll the dice, which is going to go in clockwise order, you roll one die of every color, and whatever die you're choosing to draft that round is the color house that you are making improvements on. So you can choose to do anything that you want. The die value does do different things depending on what you're doing. You're actually putting your boat up next against the river and drafting a die that way. If you're the first person there, you can take that action for free. If you're the second boat to go to a location, it's still free for you, but the person who was already there before you does gain a coin. After every player goes, it is a snake draft, so it'll go in reverse turn order where everyone will get to go a second time, starting with the last player and going back to the first. At that point, you can decide whether or not you want to attract a person. And if you choose to, you pay 3 coins to, or you can forego that action and gain a coin. Attracting a person works similarly to in the board game, where you can bring in a tourist or you can bring in an inhabitant. And again, they all score differently. They all have different things that they're looking for. The only difference is you can't have multiples of the same tourist like you can in the board game. You can only have one of each type. Whenever somebody invites their 5th character, you'll finish out that round, and then everybody will get a final turn. There'll be another round that you get to play through, and then that'll end the game, and you'll do end game scoring. You'll go through one building at a time and score each character that you have assigned to every building, and then whoever has the most points wins the game. I think that the Walking in Burano Roll and Write is super cute. I do play some heavier roll and writes that are a lot more combo-y. This one is definitely just as light as the board game. And do I think you need to have both of them? Like, absolutely not. I don't even know if there's one that I like more than the other. I think there's kind of a time and a place. So while I think that these games are different enough from each other, like I said, in Walking in Burano, the board game, you're more building out the color of the buildings. You're still focusing on the decorations, but you're kind of doing both things at once. Whereas in the Roll and Write, you are specifically only focusing on decorations, and you have to really plan out your die rolls. There is some dice mitigation that you can do. However, it does get costly, and coins are kind of hard to get unless you're skipping turns, which you don't want to do because it's kind of a race to see who can invite these 5 characters first. So I don't think that you need both of them. It's really up to you whether or not you prefer roll and writes to board games. After playing Walking in Burano Roll and Write with my friend, he was like, I don't feel like I play enough roll and writes. sometimes it's just good fun to roll a die. And especially this one, it's not necessarily lucky. There is some like push your luck, like if you're waiting for a specific die number to come up. However, it's not like that painful or bad if it doesn't come up. You can always pivot. There's always something you can do with one of the dice. So it's not that like aggressive or frustrating, I guess. I did, however, order this game from the UK. I was not able to find a copy in the US, and I am US based. So I did pay a good bit of shipping to get the game here, which isn't ideal. I think it is easier to get the board game. However, if you do like roll and writes, I would check it out. It is like, again, it's just a family weight game. It's easy to bring and take out anywhere and teach anybody, even if they don't play a ton of games. So that's my thoughts on Walking in Burano and the Walking in Burano Roll and Write. I do enjoy these games a lot. Again, I think the colors are so cute and the games are fun. They're easy. They're enjoyable. You can put as much like thought into them as you want to, which I really like in a game. You can make it really puzzly. You can think about it. You can optimize your turns. But if you don't want to play games like that and you just like games that you can like play while chatting with the company that you're with, this is a super good example of that, where you don't have to be locked in. There's not heavy, complicated rule set. It also has a solo mode, which I have not dove into. But again, if you like the puzzly aspect of it, playing this in a solo mode would be great for you. Anyway, that concludes the second part of this roll and write journey. Some of you gave me some suggestions for videos that you want to see moving forward. If there's any other roll and write board games that you want me to cover, let me know. I'm on a never-ending hunt to find all of them if possible. So yeah, that's it for part 2 of this roll and write series. I appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day, evening, or yeah, whatever, however you celebrate.